So here we have a EX1. We have our no-plate Meridian transmitter on the back of it with our 4 antennas that come standard with the system. And we're going to go for a walk in the park and give you a look of how well it copes with the situation. So Marius is going to go for a bit of a walk now. And down here we can see the picture. And if I turn the sound up, we can probably hear a little bit of sound as well. So this gives you a bit of an idea of how it kind of works in an open area. This is actually probably the worst scenario for the product. It actually works much better when you have reflections, when you have a lot of metal around. In this park we have virtually nothing around, so this is kind of the worst scenario for the product to work in. But you can see at the moment we haven't had any breakup at all. I'll just show you where Marius is. He's probably about 30-40 metres away, heading up there. We've got pretty well line of sight. There's a few kind of trees and stuff around, but we're going to go a bit further and just keep going until we actually find the point where it starts to break up and lose the picture. So he's probably about 50 metres away now. Come back down to the monitor. You can see he's still perfect picture, perfect sound. I've actually got the aperture turned right up, so we have an extreme scenario of detail, and we can probably see, you might not be able to see on the webcam, but we can see probably a little bit more noise in the picture that you normally would. That's what happens when we start losing the signal. We start getting a little bit of noise in the picture, but I've exaggerated that because I have the aperture turned all the way up, so we can see where that is. It's just on a colour balance there. That wasn't the link. So we've still got a perfect picture. There's no breakup. We haven't got one skerrick of breakup yet. We're pretty well out of line of sight here. He's starting to go between trees and some foliage. So you'd probably expect to start getting a little bit of breakup around about now, but it's still pretty solid. It's still very solid. I don't think we've actually haven't seen one bit of breakup yet. It's perfect. So I'd say he's probably a good 100 metres away now. He's definitely not in line of sight. We're probably going through a fair bit of trees, a bit of foliage, and of course we can still see that it's perfect. I haven't even had a sound breakup yet, and the sound will be the first thing to go when you start getting an unusable link. The sound will go before the pictures. So we're still pretty good at the moment. Still no breakup in the sound, no breakup in the pictures. He's completely out of line of sight. I can't even see him anymore through my eyes, so I'm not exactly sure where he is. He'd have to be a good 150 metres away now, I'd say. And see, we're still walking up there. The picture's getting pretty grainy now. I'll just turn it back to normal. It's something that you would use for news if you're doing high-end sports. Probably a little bit grainy. Not cheap. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't see when it goes to air, but as a master it's probably a little bit too much. Don't know, it just depends, but certainly for news gathering it's perfectly acceptable. Again, I've turned that detail up so it's right up, so it's exaggerating it a lot. So now he's walking along. His line of sight now, he'd have to be a good 150 metres away. I'll try to show you how far away he is here on the camera. There he is, he's walking along there, along the side of the park there. So he's going past some trees and there's some few poles and stuff in between us, but they don't seem to be bothering us at all. And again, it's yeah, perfect. Haven't had one single dropout since the entire trip yet. It's been absolutely perfect. I'll give you a look at the antenna setup. Again, it's really important to have all the antennas facing in different directions. So you can see here, they're all kind of looking slightly different directions. We've got different polarizations. And that's the real key. If you saw one of the earlier demos, if you have all the antennas exactly the same, this would be absolutely disastrous. It wouldn't work at all. So it's very important that you have those antennas like that. Back down here, if we can get the camera in focus, you can see down here, he's walking down here. Again, not one single dropout. It's been absolutely perfect so far. Going through some trees, some low tree lines there. Sorry if the camera's a bit out of focus. There we go, it seems to be better. And zoom in a little bit. There's a gentleman walking past the camera. Again, we're probably about 120, 130 metres out now. It's still absolutely perfect, not one single bit of dropout. And he's going to come back this way. So that probably concludes the test. That gives you an idea of the technology and the product in an open space. Again, it's very important how you set the antennas up. If you get it wrong, it will be completely useless. If you get it right, you should get the same results as you're seeing here.